Hello dear students, today we are going to study class 12th chapter number 13 nuclei. As you know, we have done the previous video, it was long back before your examination. In the chapter number 12 atoms, we have discussed the structure of atom, and the Bohr postulate clearly states that every atom has a single positive massive core which is called nucleus. So today we are going to talk about nucleus. A group of nucleus is actually called nuclei. So in another words, you can say nuclei is the plural form of nucleus. A single atom has a nucleus, and when we talk about group, then we say nuclei. So basically in this chapter we are going to study about nucleus, what is the composition of nucleus, the size of the nucleus, and some nuclear reactions, some basic definitions about the nucleus. Okay, so let us start with today's topic, and the first topic is composition of nucleus. Composition of nucleus. So already we have discussed in the chapter number 12 that nucleus has two basic particles. One particle is called neutron, and other one is called proton. If we talk about neutron, then electrically it is neutral. Electrically it is what? Neutral. And another one, which is proton, it is electrically positive charge. It is electrically positive charge. Basically, when we talk about proton, then it has the charge of plus E, which is equal to plus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 Coulomb charge, right? And the composition includes these two particles, and these two particles, when they combine, they form what? Nucleus. So these are the nature of electric nature, you can say, electric nature. Okay, already I have told you that neutron is electrically neutral and proton is electrically positive. Let us discuss about their masses also. If we talk about mass of proton, then mass of proton is denoted by small mp, and is 1.6726 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. While when we talk about neutron, its mass is 1.6749 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. Right? So this is the mass of neutron, this is the mass of proton. So if we say that up to 2 decimal places their mass is same, but after that it is 49, it is 26, it can be said that neutron is slightly heavier than proton. Okay, so this is all about basic characteristic. When we talk about both of them as the part of their nucleus, then we use a term which is called nucleons. Nucleons means we are talking about protons and neutrons. Okay, because they are the member of a single family called nucleus. So member of that family, combinedly they are called nucleons. Okay, now number of protons a nucleus has, it's called as atomic number. It's called its atomic number, and it is represented by Z. Okay, the number of protons which a nucleus has, it's called its atomic number. Whereas number of protons plus number of neutrons, if we add both of them, okay, so we are going to have mass number, and mass number is denoted by what? Capital A. Mass number is denoted by capital A. So basically when we talk about an atom, the atom is represented as either like this, okay, or either like this. Is it clear? So mass number is written at the top. Sorry, I have written wrong here. Z should be here, capital A should be there. Mass number should be here, or one more presentation. In some books it is like this also. The basic thing is the atomic number is at the bottom and mass number is at the top. Is it clear? So this is all about composition of nucleus. Okay. Now we are going to discuss a very important terminology, and let us discuss that terminology, what that terms are. Okay. One more very important thing I have to tell you that number of protons are given by Z, number of neutrons plus protons is given by capital A. What is Z? Z is atomic number. What is A? A is mass number, as I have told you. Suppose if I have to calculate number of neutrons, if someone want to know how many neutrons are there, so number of neutrons will be given as A minus Z. It is very simple mathematical equation, you can understand. Number of neutron plus proton, it is A. Number of protons is Z. So how many neutrons are there? Very simple, it is A minus Z. You have to remember these three things. Right? Okay, these three things are very important. You have to remember all these three things. Okay. Now, what is nuclear mass? What is nuclear mass? If we talk about what is mass of the nucleus, so nuclear mass I am talking about. Nuclear mass. So basically nuclear mass is mass of protons plus mass of neutrons. Okay. When we add both the masses, total combined mass of neutron plus combined mass of proton, what we are going to have? Mass of nuclear mass. This is nuclear mass. Okay. Now mass of proton will be given as, the mass of one proton is given by MP, and since the number of protons are Z, so it is Z MP, plus mass of neutron. How many neutrons are there? It is A minus Z. And what is the mass of neutron? It is Mn. So basically this is called nuclear. This expression is called nuclear mass. ZMP minus plus A minus Z into Mn. Okay. This expression is called nuclear mass. Is it clear? Okay. Now, one more very important thing is there, that is a nuclide. When we say what is a nuclide, the nuclide is basically what? It is a representation of a nucleus which is given by X, Z, A. It is a representation of nucleus. Okay, group of nucleus you can say. So it is given by X, Z, A. So it is called nuclide. Nuclide is what? Of a specific number of nucleus which come together. I am saying nucleus, but it should be nuclei. So a specific number of nuclei which come together to form a specific number of a special number of nucleus. So that number is called nuclide, and it is represented by this. So basically this nuclide represents group of nuclei of one atom. Is it clear? So these are some basic terms which are related to composition of nucleus. Now on the basis that the nucleus have a common atomic number or common mass number, the nuclei are divided into some categories. Okay, some special type of nuclei are there. Let us discuss those. Okay, the first one is isotopes. So isotopes are those which have same atomic number, means Z is same, but A is different mass numbers. In other words, what I am saying? When this Z is same, so basically number of protons same, but different mass number. It definitely means that number of neutrons are different. So this category is called, this type of atoms are called isotopes. Okay, so this is called isotopes. And the example of isotope, let us take some example. A hydrogen has 3 isotopes. Okay, one is called deuterium and one is called tritium. Hydrogen has 3 isotopes. This is hydrogen, one is deuterium, one is 2, and one is tritium. 1h3. So basically, how many protons this hydrogen has? 1. How many protons this hydrogen has? 1. How many protons this hydrogen has? 1. How I am able to say that? Because all they have same atomic number and the atomic number is 1 only. But if we talk about mass number, it has 1, it has 2, it has 3. So how many neutrons it has? 0. 1 minus 1, 0. Sorry, 1 minus 1, 0. How many neutrons it has? It has 1 neutron. So 1 neutron, 1 proton, mass number is 2. How many neutrons it has? It has 2 neutrons. Because 2 neutrons, 1 proton, it has mass number 3. Okay? I hope it is clear. One task for you, just go in the book and find some more isotopes. One example I have given. Second one is isobars. What are isobars? So basically, just opposite to this have Z different. What is Z? Z is atomic number and A is same. So when I say Z is different, so number of protons will be different, obviously different. Okay, but A is same. So basically number of protons plus number of neutrons is same. Okay, example is, just take this isotope of hydrogen, which is tritium, and helium 2H3. So basically it is 4, but it is for the helium, which has 2 neutrons, 2 protons. This helium nucleus has only 1 neutron, 2 protons. So basically they have same mass number. Okay, so they comes under the category of isobars. Next one is isotones. Isotones. What are isotones? So isotones is a very special one. Okay, because it has same number of neutrons. It has same number of neutrons. It has what? Same number of neutrons. Okay, and one example of isotone is chlorine, which has atomic number 17 and mass number 37. We have example of this is chlorine, atomic number 17 and mass number 37. And another one is potassium, which has atomic number 19. Potassium, which has atomic number 19 and mass number, how many neutrons it has? 37 minus 17, 20. So it has mass number as 39. Just see, how many neutrons it has? A minus Z. So it is 37 minus 17. How many we get? 10. 39 minus 19. How many we get? 10. So basically this has 20. I have told 10. So 37 minus 17, 20 neutrons. 39 minus 19, 20 neutrons. So basically it has also 20 neutrons. It has also 20 neutrons. So number of neutrons is same, and that's why they comes under the category of isotones. Okay. So this is all about number of, you can say, category, special category, isotope, isobar and isotones. Okay. I'll request you just go through the book and find some more examples related to all these. Okay. So let us move ahead. Next topic we are going to do is atomic mass unit, which is called AMU in short. A very important definition, okay, because all the calculations, earlier this chapter was so big, okay, when radioactivity was involved, but this time the radioactivity has been deleted, so this chapter becomes very small, right? So earlier there was so much calculation, but this time it is not there. But still the chapter is very important. Atomic mass unit. In short form it is called AMU. How it is defined as? What we say, it is defined as, it is 1/12 of C12 atom. Okay, C612 atom. So atomic mass unit is defined as, it is defined as 1/12 of mass of C12 atom. Okay. So basically what we have done, we have defined one particular mass as atomic mass unit, and when what we do, we calculate all the masses in terms of that only. It is something like, suppose if you go to a shop and the shopkeeper has only 5 kg weight. So what he can do? He will measure all the weights in terms of 5 kg only. Okay, if you want to take 20 kg, okay, so 5 kg weight will be done 4 times he will weigh. So in the same manner what we have done, we have taken a certain mass and that we have defined as atomic mass unit. So all the masses of neutron, mass of proton, mass of electron is converted into atomic mass unit, and then further we proceed with our calculations. Okay, so there are some important values. Let us write those values. Okay, first of all, the value of 1 AMU. 1 AMU is given as 1.660565 1.660565 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So this is the value of 1 AMU. Okay, this is the value of 1 AMU. Further, we write the value of mass of proton, mass of electron and mass of neutron also. Okay, so mass of proton, if we talk about, so mass of proton is 1.6726 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg, as we have discussed earlier also. So in AMU it is given as 1.0073 AMU. Whereas mass of neutron, already we have discussed 1.76749 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So it is given as 1.0086 AMU. It is slightly heavier than, this is mass of neutron, sorry, this is mass of neutron. Let us discuss mass of electron. It is 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. When we convert this into EMU, we get mass of electron, we get 0.00055 AMU. You don't need to remember these values. If these values are required in a particular equation, particular question, these values are given in the paper. Okay, these values are given in the paper, so don't worry. Is it clear? But just for the sake of convenience I am writing. Suppose if we talk about mass of hydrogen nucleus. So what we are going to do? Hydrogen nucleus has 1 proton and 1 neutron. So mass of 1 proton is 1.0073 plus mass of 1 neutron is 1.0086. When we add them, what we are going to have? 6 plus 3 it is 9. 8 plus 7 it is 15. 0 plus 0 and 1 carry, it was 1. So 2.0559 AMU. This is the mass of hydrogen nucleus. I'm not talking about hydrogen atom. I'm talking about hydrogen nucleus. Is that clear? Okay. Now from AMU, a very important thing is there, and that thing is called, if we talk about a very important relation which is called mass energy equivalence, according to which there is some energy which is associated with each mass, and that energy is given as E is equal to mc square, where E is the energy, m is the mass and c is the speed of light. So if you put m as 1 AMU, if you put as m as 1 AMU and c obviously 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, so we'll get some amount of energy. Let us see what we are going to have. E is equal to 1 AMU and it is further multiplied by 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Okay, now we have to convert that AMU into kg so that we can multiply it. All the units will be in SI only. So we are going to have 1.660, okay, into 10 to the power minus 27 into 3 3s are 9 into 10 to the power 16. 10 to the power 8 is squared, it will become 16. So this energy is going to be in joule. And now if that joule has to be converted into electron volt, if that joule has to be converted into electron volt, what we are going to have? So let us convert this into electron volt. So what we have to do? We have to divide it by 1.66 into 10 to the power in 9 multiplied by 9. Let us multiply. 9 zeros are 0, 9 6 are 54, 9 6 are 50 plus 5, 59, 9 ones are 9 plus 5, 14. After 3 places decimal, 14.44, 10 to the power minus 27, 10 to the power 16, it will become 10 to the power minus 11. So this is in joule. Let us make it this in the electron volt. 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. If we divide it, it becomes in electron volt. Or let us divide it by 13 and let us make it mega electron volt. Okay. So if we solve it, we'll get approximate value as 931 mega electron volt. So this is the energy which is associated with 1 AMU. This is the energy which is associated with 1 AMU. So we can say that that 1 AMU is equal to what? 931 mega electron volt. Okay, but somehow if you go in depth of this equation, then in this side of the equation I have written mass, in this side of the equation I have written energy. So I am writing mass is equal to energy. So you have to understand that here that C square has been multiplied, but it is not shown. This value comes under this calculation. So 1 AMU is equivalent to what? 1 AMU is equivalent to 931 mega electron volt. Okay. So let us proceed to another topic. I hope this topic has very clear to you. So let us move to the next topic. The next topic is about size of the nucleus. Okay, the next topic is about size of the nucleus. Let us do that. Size of the nucleus, we are going to talk about that. So if we talk about nucleus, so nucleus has not a physical boundary, physical thing is not there. Only a group of protons and neutrons, they come together and they form a nucleus, right? A proton and a neutron, they come together and they form a nucleus, okay? So nucleus has not a physical boundary. So basically size of a nucleus, if we take it as spherical, let us put the heading. What we are doing size of nucleus. Okay. So let us take the shape of the nucleus as a sphere. So we can write 4 by 3 pi r cube, where r is the radius of the nucleus. It is directly proportional to what? It is directly proportional to the A. A is what? Mass number. The number of neutron, proton, if they are more, the size of the nucleus is greater. Okay, because there is no physical thing. All the nucleons, when I say nucleons, I do mean protons and neutrons. They come together and they form a nucleus. So basically, the volume of the nucleus is proportional to what? Mass number. Mass number is what? Mass number is number of protons plus number of neutrons. Okay, 4 by 3 is constant. We can remove that. So we are going to have r cube is proportional to what? A. Or we can say that r is proportional to what? A to the power 1 by 3. So for removing the proportionality, we can put a constant. Okay, so let us take r is proportional to, r is equal to what? R naught into a to the power 1 by 3, where that r naught is called unit nucleus, unit radius, and its value is approximate. Okay, its value is approximate how much? Its value is 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter. Its value is 1.2 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter, which is FM. 1.2 FM. Fermi meter. I hope you know Fermi meter. Fermi meter is what? Fermi meter is 1 Fermi meter is equal to how much? 10 to the power minus 15 meter. 1 Fermi meter is 10 to the power minus 15 meter. So this is about the size of the nucleus. And when we talk about size of the nucleus, in the parallel way, we have to talk about density of the nucleus also. density of the nucleus. Okay, let us talk about that also. So density is equal to what? Mass upon volume. Mass upon volume. So mass is what? Total number of nucleons is A. And suppose on an average, if you take mass of one nucleon as small m, so mass of one nucleon is small m, so mass of the nucleus will be A into m. Simple. And the volume of the nucleus is given by 4 by 3 pi r cube. So 3 will go in the numerator. We are going to have 3 into A into m upon 4 pi. In place of r cube, I can put r naught into a to the power 1 by 3 whole cube. From here I am going to have 3 am upon 4 pi r naught cube into a. So a and a will be cancelled out, and density is going to be 3 into m upon 4 pi r naught cube. So density is actually independent of a. Of what nucleus we are talking about, it doesn't matter because A has been cancelled. A is cancelled out, just see. So density of a nucleus does not depend upon the mass number. How many nucleons and how many nucleons are there, how many protons and neutrons are there, density of the nucleus does not depend upon that. So density of the nucleus depends upon, it is actually constant. Average mass of one nucleon, 4 pi, 3, all these are numbers. R naught is unit radius, which is called 1.2 to 10 to the power minus 15. And if we solve it, just say m is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg and R naught is 1.2 fm, this is 10 to the power minus 15. When it will be cube, it will become 10 to the power minus 45. When 45 goes in the numerator, we have already here 10 to the power minus 27 and we have 10 to the power 45 also. So 10 to the power minus 27, 10 to the power 45, we are going to have approximate 10 to the power 18, approximate value. So density of the nucleus is in order of 10 to the power 18. 3 and 4 pi, let us make it 10 to the power 17. Okay, 10 to the power 17 kg per meter cube, which is not ordinary. Because in day-to-day life, what we see, the higher the density is 10 to the power in order of 10 to the power 3. In our day-to-day life, we see the density is in 10 to the power 3 kg per meter cube. But here we are seeing that density of the nucleus is quite higher. It is 10 to the power 17 kg per meter cube, which is beyond the scope of density of any of the day-to-day material. Okay. So this density is quite high. So what we say that in the nucleus, the empty space is not there. The particles are very closely packed and the distance between two particles is so small that it can be neglected also when we talk about the size of the nucleus. Is it clear? So this is density of nucleus and this is size of the nucleus. Okay. These two topics are there in your syllabus. So let us proceed with that. Sorry. Now, let us move to our next topic. So, let us move to our next topic, and the next topic is nuclear force. Let us talk about that also. Nuclear force. What is nuclear force? In class 11th, when the very starting in the first chapter, when we talk about physical world, in that chapter, you have been told that there are four natural forces in the, One is gravitational force, another one is electromagnetic force, third one is weak nuclear forces, and the fourth one is strong nuclear forces. So here we are going to talk about the stronger one, the strong nuclear force. What is that actually? When we talk about protons and neutrons and they are together, so being neutron, there is no problem. But when two protons are there and they are very close to each other, so the electrostatic repulsion they experience is given by K, Q1, Q2 by R square. So here if we have K as 9 into 10 to the power 9, so it is constant. Q1, Q2 both are equal to E. R is in terms of Fermi meter, so it will become a square, so it is 10 to the power minus 30, it goes in the numerator. Again the force is quite larger. and this force actually repels those two protons. So this force can be a reason of instability of nucleus, because when two protons come together, this force repels. Because of this force, they repel each other and they have tendency to go away from each other. So how that nucleus is stable? Because in the nucleus, proton, neutron, proton, neutron, proton, proton, all stays together. How that stability can be explained? So for that stability, we study nuclear force, and more specifically, I should say strong nuclear force. What is strong nuclear force? What is a strong nuclear force? A strong nuclear force bound two particles together at a force greater than this one. This force is actually 10 to the power 2 to 10 to the power 3 times greater than electromagnetic force. Okay, this force is actually 10 to the power 2 to 10 to the power 3 times greater than electromagnetic force, and this force is responsible for binding the nucleons together, and in that manner the nucleons stay together and it has a stable characteristic. Okay, let us discuss some more points about this force. Let us discuss some properties of this nuclear force. Okay, properties. The first one, properties. The first property is it is the strongest force in nature. Strongest force in nature. It is the strongest one. Okay, when we talk about three other forces, which is gravitational force, electrostatic force or electromagnetic force, or a strong nuclear force, then we get the ratio as 10 to the power 0 is to 10 to the power 36 is to 10 to the power 38. In some books it is written 39, in some books it is written 38. That's why I have told you that it is 10 to the power 2 to 10 to the power 3 times greater. So as you can compare, this force is the strongest one in the nature. Second one, it is charge independent. Charge independent. It simply means neutron, neutron, proton, proton, and neutron, proton. In all these three cases, SNF. What is SNF? Strong nuclear force. It is same. Okay. It does not depend upon the charge and it does not depend upon the mass also. So I'm adding one more point. Charge and mass independent force. It does not depend upon the charge. It does not depend upon the mass. Okay. So force between the neutron, neutron, force between the strong, force between the proton, proton, force between proton, neutron, all the forces are same. Okay. Let us move to the third one. Let me remove this. Okay. Sorry. Third one. So, third one is, it is a very short range force. It is a very short range force. About 10 to the power minus 15 meter. This is the range of this force. And with the increase in distance, this force decreases very rapidly. If you plot a graph to understand its variation with the distance, okay, so the shape of the graph is something like this. It is not there. It is like this. Okay. So if you see, the distance is in terms of meter. So what we say that approximate that distance, this force above, it is the force and it is the distance. So above this point, this force is of repulsion, and below this it is of attraction. Okay, below this it is of attraction, right? So when this force is actually less than 1 Fermi meter, this is the line which actually denotes approximate 1 Fermi meter, 1 FM. okay, and this line is approximate half Fermi meter. So if this is less than that, so after below this distance, this force is of repulsion. It simply means, what this graph shows that here it is of attraction, here it is of repulsion. What does it mean? Protons and protons, they are attracted by this force. Proton, neutron, they are attracted by this force. But when the distance between these particles become very small, then what happens? They start repelling each other. So below this distance, in this region, it is of repulsion, and after this, it is of attraction. Okay. So in this manner, it behaves like a spring. It behaves like a spring. If the distance is too small, it starts repelling, and if distance is larger, it starts attracting. Okay. So this is about the nuclear force. Okay. And now let us take one more point of this. The last point is, it is a spin dependent character. This force is actually spin dependent. Spin dependent. When I say spin dependent, what do I actually mean? Always say that in the nucleus, protons and neutrons, they are not steady, they spin on their axis, right? So this force depends upon their spin also. Okay. If the spin is same, the force is more. If the spin is less, the spin is opposite, the force is less. So this is all about nuclear forces. In this chapter, only two topics are left. One is mass defect, another one is nuclear reactions. Okay. And then after we will solve some numericals. Okay. 1 or 2 numericals. So let us pause the video here. Let us hold here, and the rest of the things will be done in the next video. So this is all for the day. Thank you.